From Rip going ham towards Lloyd to the Beck clan getting wiped out in the most brutal way possible, here are the top 10 Yellowstone moments that went too far. Starting on the number 10 spot, we have one from Season 3's 8th episode, I Killed a Man Today. The episode embodies one of the most horrifying experiences for women. A predator who has been kidnapping Native women has been confronted by Monica at the end of Season 3. In case you didn't know, violence against Indigenous women has been high in the US in recent years, and the show portrayed a beautiful and harrowing experience for them. As Monica is placed in a vulnerable situation, this montage gradually heightens the unsettling atmosphere. Even if Monica and the audience are aware of what's going to happen, it is still difficult to see the predator pursue Monica and encircle her. Thankfully, the incident was staged, and Mo successfully executed his shot. Although things could have gone far worse, Monica's experience was undoubtedly distressing and beyond what some people could manage. The predator's death is pretty violent, but given his background, many of the viewers found comfort and satisfaction in this. But if you think that's violent, Sheriff Donnie Haskell's death is far too much, which is why it's placed at the number 9 spot today. Season 4's 8th episode saw the passing of Donnie Haskell, a recurring character in the series. Although he didn't play a crucial part in the series, his death is still quite a blow to viewers. As John and Rip get involved in a diner robbery, they kill all the criminals, but Donnie is caught in the crossfire. Some may even describe their conduct as heroic, and this is where the fans have differing views. Some would argue that John and Rip's actions were pretty heroic, but others contest that they could have stopped Donnie's death if they hadn't acted illegally. Whether you believe they overstepped the mark or not, Donnie's death is rendered much more horrific by his attempt to phone his daughter. He didn't get a chance to say goodbye as he passed mid-conversation. Compared to the sheriff's death, many fans think that Jamie killing Sarah was a bit too much for the show, which is why it's on the number 8 spot. In the episode Blood the Boy, we see Jamie do the unthinkable, taking someone's life. Jamie has always felt alienated from the Dutton family, even before it was discovered that he was adopted. Despite his fine suit and legal degree, Jamie shares his adoptive and biological father's murderous instinct, which is pretty unfortunate for him. Jamie believes that using force is the only way out of the situation that Sarah Wynn has put him in. Some viewers find that Jamie's subsequent actions, putting his hands around Sarah's neck and saying "I'm sorry" repeatedly, push the moment over the brink. I mean, looking at it in hindsight, it was a conscious choice with what he did to Sarah. But if you are looking for violence, then you best expect that Season 3's finale is included in today's list at the number 7 spot. I mean, it's pretty obvious that they really want the Duttons gone on the episode The World is Purple. In the 3rd season finale of Yellowstone, we were left with Beth's office bursting, Casey hiding behind a desk as guns start firing, and John dealing with a drive-by shooting. Imagine all doing all these, and yet all the Duttons still survived. Damn. Even though they eventually make it through another season, the sequence nevertheless results in several deaths. Particularly, Beth's assistant blows out when she opens the gift, while a mother John, assisted on the side of the road, gets gunned down. Was it necessary though? No, we didn't think so. But if any of the Duttons died in this episode, then this episode will definitely have ranked higher. We don't always see the Duttons in such a helpless state, but when they're on the offensive, you best believe no one's safe. This is best seen in Sins of the Father. Remember what happened to Teal? Tate is taken by the Becks, and the Duttons act without hesitation in a quest for vengeance-laced rescue. While several members of the Beck family experience graphic deaths, Teal's is the most distressing to witness. That's not to say Teal didn't get what he deserved, especially in light of Tate's ordeal. Still, it makes us cringe to see someone dying on a toilet. Casey infiltrates Teal's territory and shoots him in the most exposed location imaginable. After pressuring Teal for information, Casey ends his suffering. We assume Teal didn't deserve a respectable passing, but does anyone deserve to die in such a degrading way? Finally, we're at the upper half. Coming in hot at the number 5 spot, we have one from the pilot, Daybreak, where John Dutton puts down a horse. Yellowstone's opening sequence is a make or break on whether viewers will love the show or not. While other series ease us into the grim realism, the show jumps right in as John Dutton is introduced. John's face is only partially covered in blood from the nearby car collision, and he's forced to euthanize a suffering horse and put it out to pasture. But compared to John doing that, seeing Rip Wheeler go at it towards Lloyd is an even morbid scene, which is why it takes the number 4 spot. Even though Lloyd has a temper, we still prefer to be on his bad side than Rip's. To humiliate his friend, Rip starts a fight between Walker and Lloyd. Walker then gives the elder ranch hand a red face, even though he just stabbed him. But once Lloyd has the upper hand, he won't let go. By beating Lloyd unconscious, Rip intends to put a stop to their quarrel once and for all. More than anything else, it hurts to see Rip smash Lloyd's hand. Was this lesson really necessary, or did Rip go overboard? Well, you could say he had it coming. But what about the death of Beth's assistant? I don't think that was even needed in the show, which is why it's the solid number 3 on today's list. Although Beth has an indestructible spirit, Resurrection Day showed us that she still has a fragile side. In a race against time to defend Beth as Malcolm Beck's thugs rush her office, Rip finds himself in a tight spot. It's difficult to pick out one particular scene from this phase as the most brutal, although Jason's death as Beth's assistant is particularly distressing to witness. When Beth reacts angrily, one of the armed men begins to beat her more. If Rip hadn't shown up there, he would have taken things a step further and made the heads of the 2 guys targets. Beth seems to go through a lot in the series since the number 2 spot also involves her and Jamie. In Cowboys and Dreamers, we finally understood why she has bad blood with her brother. A flashback in season 3 reveals that when young Beth became pregnant, she went to Jamie for help. And to avoid being identified, Jamie planned to have the pregnancy terminated right then and there. But the thing is, at this clinic, the procedure includes sterilizing the patients, and Jamie fails to tell Beth of this.
Like wanting to high-five me or start a fight. It's really interesting how people believe that you're your character. The first time I've talked about it.
So now the choice of having children is taken away from Beth forever. Although it's questionable if this was the scene that went too far. Jamie unquestionably did so on that particular day. And finally, taking the top spot in today's list is taking the brand back from Wade during Meaner Than Evil. Wade was a branded guy and even worked for John until he turned against Yellowstone Ranch.
It's all out right now.
I think he's really worried in that moment, trying to get them to fix this.
I'm trying to find a way out for you. You gotta help me here. So do you.
One of the things that Luke and I wanted to work on.
Wade is no longer deserving of wearing the Y sign on his chest after betraying the Duttons. Because of this, he got his brand taken off. Gotta admit though, that Wade's cries and the sound of Walker's knife make this the show's most excruciating death, and possibly the closest it has gotten to going overboard. And that wraps up the 10 Yellowstone moments that went too far.